Hi guys, welcome back to the Scout the Defender YouTube video, and to a video that's long awaited in the fact that I'm going to be finally doing some more interior modifications to Scout. Now I've done a few to increase comfort, such as fit the high-rise cubby box or the new steering wheel, but a lot of my recent videos have been focused on exterior modifications, so whether that's the mud spats or the spotlights or basically anything I can think of is basically an exterior modification that I've done in a video fairly recently. So today we're going to be modernising the interior of Scout by fitting an Apple CarPlay unit. Now the previous unit I had fitted was just a single DIN standard unit, which I'll talk a little bit more about in a second and the reasons why I'm moving away from that. But with an upcoming road trip planned, I thought it was best to kind of get the CarPlay in and to benefit from kind of some more modern tech in Scout. So we're going to head over to the guys at Audiophile in-car who are going to carry out the install, and I'll try and document as much of the process as possible for you guys, and then at the end show you kind of some of the functionality and features that we now have with a double DIN unit. So I'll give you a walkthrough of the old system, the problems I was having, and then we'll head over to Audiophile in-car. So this is the old dash that's going to be I guess taken out and replaced with the new double DIN. So you can see at the moment we've just got the standard Land Rover radio. It has an aux cable, and I usually plug it into my phone up here, but this is all horrible and rattling, so I can't wait to get rid of that. And also the aux cable's loose, as that just pulled out. And then to charge my iPhone, then I have the cigarette lighter charger in here. So all of this will basically be removed and replaced with the double DIN unit with CarPlay, which I can't wait for. The main thing you have to do is relocate some of this switch gear. And you know, in previous videos I've also added kind of additional lights currently on standard switches. So what we'll do is effectively fit this, which is an extra switch panel, and this will sit on the right hand side here. We'll have to cut the dash and that will be mounted in, and then you'll relocate a lot of the switches over to that switch panel, and that effectively frees up a lot of room for the CarPlay or the touch screen. But it's going to dramatically improve the drivability of this, rather than having to have your phone up here, and just have CarPlay will be great, and all the music. So I'm really looking forward to the upgrade. So with that, it was time to head over to the guys at Audiophile in-car. Now I actually discovered these guys over on YouTube. I've been following their Defender builds, their soundproofing, their audio enhancements, and of course their double DIN conversions for a while. So go and check those guys out to see some of the other builds on their YouTube channel. They look incredible, and I knew I needed these guys to carry out this work. Now the work was all carried out within the day. Now the guys had to deal with some of my previous dodgy wiring and some loose battery within the battery box. The first task was to remove the old fascia and track any existing wiring and some of my rogue wiring for the spotlights and the rear work lights. And once that was removed, we could move on to starting to install the new units. One of the neat things the guys do is actually make a bespoke custom switch panel. So I bought this switch pack online, and the guys have reduced it down so I don't have a panel with lots of blanking switches in it. It's slightly longer so I can fit the spotlight switches and the rear work light switches, but they'll now treat it and finish it so it'll look basically like it was bought that way, custom to the number of switches that I need. So here we're just sanding down the edges, and it gets treated with a flat paint as well, so it'll look really OEM, and you can see the final result here. Next up was the install of the new DAB aerial. So we've removed the old aerial and polish up the panel. You can see the new DAB aerial here, which gets pulled through. The wiring gets pulled through to through the bulkhead, and the new aerial attached. It's time for the scary bit now, where we cut the hole for the new switch panel. As you can see, the guys have done this so many times. They've cut a perfect square, measuring it up so that the switch panel can fit perfectly, sanding down the edges so it's a really nice fit, and then we can install the new switch panel into the new hole. Fixing the new switch panel in place, gluing it in, and now you can see it's fitted and installed and looks OEM. The other thing is to route the USB cables through the cubby box cup holders. So here we have two USBs, but also have wireless CarPlay too, so we can charge two devices at once. Another nice touch is that guys build up genuine switches with genuine wiring and genuine plugs, which means that my new spotlights and also my rear work lights can run off genuine switches as opposed to the non-OEM switches that I've been dealing with before. It'll just look so much smarter, so much tidier, and the whole thing will look so much more genuine Land Rover. And with that, it's time to reinstall the new fascia with the double din unit installed within it. Hook up all the wiring and we're good to go. Now, a few other bits that I didn't film, the guys updated some of the bulbs that had gone behind the switchgear, which I hadn't even realised had happened. There were loads of screws missing in the old vents, so that's why I got some rattles behind the dash. And they've also moved some of the plastic trims around to stop that awkward glow that you get when you put on your dash lights in the dark. All these nice small touches that really add up to make the experience so much better when using the product. Right, so I thought I'd show you the fit of the new CarPlay system. So here we have the Alpine unit just here, and I'll put on the screen exactly the unit that we have. So that's a 7-inch display, but the beauty of this display is that you still have physical buttons as well as the touchscreen capability. Especially when you're driving along, like things like volume button or getting back to the main menu is much easier having a physical button than it is having something on a display. So I'm really happy that I've gone for this unit. The other things to show is the switch panel that I've had moved over and placed on this spot here. So obviously with the double din unit you take up a lot more real estate and you lose some of the switches. So here we have the new cut panel. One of the reasons I went with audiophile actually is I've seen their fit and finish for how they cut down the panels is really nice, and you'll have seen in the video earlier the guys cut down the panel and remove kind of any extra buttons, so you don't have a big hole and a big panel full of blank switches. I've moved over now to have my hazards, my rear wiper, my rear wash, fog lights, and then also these two extra buttons for spotlights and rear lights, which I think is great. They look basically factory fit, which I really appreciate, and I really like the finish that we've kept, the matte look. So they have options to have this fascia done in gloss or matte, and I think it just looks more OEM in matte, and I'm really happy that I went for that choice because it was kind of up in the air. I couldn't quite decide. Now if I turn the system on, another really nice touch, and the screen comes on, you've got this Land Rover startup, which again makes it feel kind of extra OEM, which I really like. And then we'll go into the system. It's just so intuitive. So across the bottom it's just going to connect to my phone. It's got wireless Apple CarPlay. So you have your phone, you have a radio here. I've got it on mute, but you've got all your DAB digital channels. If I go back to the main menu, I'm still getting used to navigation. Here you go, now I have CarPlay. If I tap on that, so you've got your CarPlay, you've got Spotify, you've got your phone, you've got split view, which is really handy. So you have your Waze and you can have your Spotify or Apple Music. And it's just really modernised the Defender and made it just so much more usable, rather than relying on kind of a big clunky phone holder at the top. So I'm really happy with that upgrade. The finish is just, the way the guys fit and finish is just so smart, and it looks great. They've also installed down here, where I previously had the rear work lights, 2 USBs, so you can charge 2 devices, or if you don't have wireless Apple CarPlay on some of the models, you just plug your device in there. So the other thing they've done is fit a new DAB digital antenna, which is much shorter than the other one, and it's black, keeping in touch with I guess the look of the rest of Scout, but that's giving now full DAB digital reception, so I don't have any of that chopping and changing, which I did have on the previous CarPlay. So I'm really happy with the install. I think it looks great. So there you have it, guys. That is the install of the double din CarPlay unit. A big shout out to the guys at Audiophile In-Car. I'm really, as you can tell, happy with the final result, and those guys have just smashed it with the fit and finish. So check those guys out, check their YouTube channel. They're doing loads of great conversions, and it's not just double din units, it's soundproofing and it's audio upgrades too, so check those guys out. As always, if you like the video, please drop it a like and subscribe for plenty more videos just like this to come, and I'll see you in the next video.